Hi everyone, and welcome back. And in today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use vocal pitch correction during live performances when you are using your TASCAM Model 12 without spending any extra money buying any hardware pitch corrections. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you how you can use free DAW and a free auto pitch correction plugin to do the job. This technique not only applies to the Model 12, it can also apply to the TASCAM's Model 16 and the Model 24. You do not require any additional hardware or any other connections for this to work. It's a standard connection of the USB-C at the back of the unit into a laptop. And a moderate laptop will do just fine. My laptop is quite old, and I will show you the specifications later on, and it can handle it quite nicely. A quick overview of how the audio routed in the Model 12, Model 16 and the 24. I have a microphone, this one, connected to the channel 1, and that's what you're hearing right now, and that's what you're going to be hearing all throughout this video. The signal coming from the microphone, I've used my gain knob to give it a gain with some low cut. I have the switch at the direct position, so you can hear the audio directly of the live input, and the signal follows all the way down to the fader. And then it's going to my submix only because I'm using the output of this mixer into another audio interface, so I can not only capture the video, the audio of the mixer, and my screen capture as well. But normally your audio will be going out into the mains, to the audience, as well as any other monitoring system you got. I will leave the main up so you can actually see the levels going up and down. Apart from the audio being routed to the channel, just before the mode switch, it's also converted into digital format and it's sent to your DAW via the USB. So you have parallel signal. So you've got the main audio signal routed to the mixer as well as going into the DAW. And then the return from your PC via the USB through the DAW comes just before the mode switch as well. And by selecting the switch into PC, you are listening to the return from your DAW and the signal follows back. So while you have on the direct position, the signal goes directly into the mixing section. And if you switch to PC, the signal will go into your DAW, return back, and then continue on. Of course, this will incur some latency as the signal is sent to your DAW and then returned back. But I found that latency is so little that the effect is minimal, even on my old PC. Let's have a quick look at my ASIO driver settings. Here I have my mixer model selected. In the driver settings, I'm using sampling rate of 44.1. You can certainly go to 48 kHz, which might give you a slight better performance in latency. But you can see my buffer size is 16 samples, and I'm getting a round trip of 6.7 millisecond. Let's open up the ASIO panel. So as you can see, even on my old laptop, down to 16 samples, it works just fine. For this purpose, you may be able to go lower. I haven't dared, but the lower sample rate, the smaller the latency will be. On my laptop, I have Cakewalk by BandLab running as a free DAW, and you can see on my track 1, the signal level is going up. And I'm just going to turn on 9 and 10 because my master, you can see at the output, is selected 9 and 10. That's the default I like to select so that I can control the stereo signal coming back on my 9 and 10 when I'm listening. Now you are hearing some delay and echo. That's the latency of the direct signal and the signal coming back from the PC. And then if I turn off the direct signal, all you're going to be hearing now is the delayed signal. And that's the direct and the delay. So let's turn it off so you can hear me clearly. But at the same time, you can see how the signal level is going up. And if I switch to the PC, now the channel will switch from the direct microphone into the signal coming back from the PC. You can see the signal going up, but you couldn't hear me. That's because I did not have channel 9 and 10 up. And let me turn it off again. So switching back to the live, the signal from the microphone flows directly. Once you understand this concept, the following information will be much more helpful to understand how it actually works. The way to set it up is simply create a blank project and add one single track. And you need to select the input of that track to the input that you have the microphone connected. So if you have two vocalists and you want to pitch correct both vocalists, you'll have two tracks and select the input for each of the microphone connected for each of the tracks. Normally, the output of the track will go to the master, as we can see there. But for this situation, we're going to switch it back to out 1. So basically, it'll come in from input 1 of the Model 12 as an audio interface, and the signal will directly go out 1, back directly into the channel, rather than going into the master. So now if I lift 9 and 10, you won't hear anything, and you can see that on Cakewalk, the master channel does not have any signal. So while I have the channel and I've got listen mode on, or input echo enabled, I should be able to switch into PC, and now I should be able to hear myself as well. With a slight difference, that's just some gain that it gets. So we can adjust now on Cakewalk the volume of my microphone, and that's what I'm hearing. So I'll just turn it down maybe about here to balance the level, making sure I've got my direct, this is my direct signal, and my return signal is very similar in level, so gain matched. And I can't really tell the difference. The delay is so minimal that I can't tell the difference between listening direct or listening via PC. So we are pretty much there. What you're hearing is exactly what I'm hearing on my headphones, and that's the track there. So I have Grelian 2. I'm just going to enable it. Pitch correction. Let me fit it onto the screen. And now I can have pitch correction live as I'm using the microphone. So just to make sure that it's all working, I'm just going to put it on fast. And you can definitely tell how it's pitch correction. Let's play around a little bit more of this information. And my voice is now completely being manipulated, which is causing me not to be able to talk properly. But it's hardly any latency. I can even maybe put
my pitch up, sound like a chipmunk, or I can make my voice sound completely different.
So it's all possible directly. So that's how I can do auto pitch correction. Let's put a proper sort of level, maybe halfway to that one. And the smoothness, I'm going to just put anywhere between 10 to 20 millisecond. I'm just going to leave it chromatic. Of course, you can select even the key of the song that you are singing, and you can always change that as well so that it corrects it correctly. But I'm just going to leave it as chromatic, and we are ready to go. It is live pitch correction. And why stop there? I also have my VX64 vocal strip. And you can see now I've got a few things enabled. I've got the expander. That means it's getting rid of all the background noise. Let me switch it off. That's the fan of my laptop. And I'll switch it on. So now we have a gate. An expander. This also helps with any feedback on the stage when the singer is not singing. I've added some compression as well. Some tube equalization. I can add a doubler. I can add a delay if I wanted to. and the de-esser as well. And this is all possible, of course, depending on the capability of your PC and the CPU power. You may be able to add more plugins, but the less you put, the less stress on the CPU and more reliable the whole system will be. Talking about my laptop, let me show you the specifications of my old laptop so you can have a reference point how it's being used. Whether your PC meets these specifications, and if it's better than that, then you're good to go. Here are the specifications of my old laptop. It's an i7-3632QM running at 2.2 GHz with 8 GB of RAM. I also have an SSD hard drive that may or may not help with the performance of having multiple plugins. I'm sure there are going to be some comments about why would you want to use pitch correction during live performances? Isn't that cheating? Well, I can assure you that even the most professional artists tend to use auto pitch correction during their live performance. Not because they cannot sing or perform, and of course I'm not talking about the ones who can't, but it also helps them to provide a better performance to their audience. And you can imagine being on stage, running around, or even playing an instrument, you can actually lose some of the concentration. And a little bit of pitch correction can help your pitch and better performance and more enjoyable to your audience. But if you do disagree, please comment below and let me know why. It's no different than a professional drummer following a click track, keeping in time for better performance. Well, that's it for the tutorial part. But if you like to hang around and hear me sing while I switch from direct monitoring to the PC auto pitch corrected monitoring so I can see how it actually works, well, stick around for that. Otherwise, if this was helpful, make sure you give me the thumbs up and I'll catch you in the next video. For everyone else, do enjoy. Wise men say only fools rush in, for I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? For I can't help falling in love with you. Lonely river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Lonely river flow surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help with you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for watching and have a great time making music, and I'll catch you in the next video.